Can you pass one of the most important hip flexibility tests ever? Today we're going to show you the Deep Lunge Test that we've used with tens of thousands of people, why it is so important and how you can improve it. Before you think this is some kind of crazy advanced flexibility movement, it's not. That is. The Deep Lunge Test is your baseline for good hip flexibility. If you can't pass this test, it is a big deal. Problems could be coming for you. But don't worry, that's what we're here for. Start off in a lunge position, and what you're going to do is put your hands down so they're in line with the front leg. Then slide your back knee back as far as you can, and from there you're going to see, can you replace the palm of the hand with the elbow on that same side beside the front foot. This would be a 10 out of 10 for the Deep Lunge Test, that your elbow's touching the floor beside the heel and you have a vertical shin. A 5 out of 10 would be if you're slightly above the ankle and you're struggling to get that full range. And if you're like I was when I first started, a 1 out of 10 would be above mid shin, that you can't even. You want to test this on both sides to look for any difference side to side, because that's extremely important. Make sure to put down in the comments what you score, and we're going to show you how to fix this in a minute. But why is this test so important? The Deep Lunge Test from the Simplistic Mobility Method is designed to evaluate your deep hip flexion. If you can't pass the test, your body is going to try and compensate in different ways, which can really affect how you move and how you train. You may experience back pain, hip pain, knee pain, recurring groin injuries, lack of glute and hamstring engagement, restrictions in your squat, or just feel stiff and tight all of the time. We teach people how to get flong and sexible, which is the combination of being both strong and flexible. If you don't have the flexible, you can't get strong. Let's go through some examples of what can go wrong if you can't pass the test. Firstly, if you were to feel both sides, you would see a common trait called the butt wink. This is when your hips don't have enough room to flex, so the spine has to flex instead. When you squat, your back will have to round at the bottom. You'll get away with this with little to no weight, but if you start to load this up, it can be a nightmare for your lower back. But anytime you need to bend through the hips, your lower back could be doing more than it wants to. And if you're someone with recurring lower back pain, this could be one of the reasons. Secondly, your knees could suffer by being pulled inwards whenever you're trying to do any kind of squatting movements, lunging, running, all kinds of stuff. And the problem is your knees aren't actually that fragile. They can put up with punishment for a long time, and this could have been building up for years before you run into those problems that are all of a sudden. Joints are heavily influenced by the supporting muscles. So whether you're walking a ball or throwing a dog, you want to make sure that you're able to stack everything in good alignment so you can avoid injury. Finally, if your Deep Lunge Test was really bad on one side compared to the other, that can present itself in wonkiness or consistent tightness on one side of the body, either with the back, the glute, the hamstring, or the calf. Having imbalances like this can create mystery pains that just bounce around the body. It could happen on either the tighter side or the less tight side, because your body's just trying to compensate any way that it can. Here's 3 tips you can mix and match with to improve your deep lunge using the Deep Lunge. Wiggle number 1, rotation. Add rotations to the upper body, and this is going to give us a way we can do reps to start really getting into the hips. So with each rotation, you want to get a big nice T shape, T for Tom, and then from there we're trying to bring the elbow down as low as you can get it with a big exhale in the bottom. So really when you get up and you're coming back down, really be big deep breath out as you're trying to get down into the position. Breathing is a super secret tip about this. Your body's not going to let you have any more range of motion if you're too tense and you're holding your breath. So that breathing out at the bottom position helps your body to feel safe, which is going to give you more flexibility. You're going to do this for 5 to 10 reps on each side, nice and slow, and what you'll notice over time that your range of motion starts to improve and you start to get lower. Let the supporting hand do whatever it needs to do to help you to get lower. If you need to move it out a little bit, that's totally fine. Your main focus is on getting that elbow down beside the heel. Wiggle number 2, hip pry and rocking. Place both hands on the floor, and what you're going to try and do is pry your hip open using your own glute muscles. So you should feel this up at the hip as you do this, and your knee should go out to the side as a byproduct of you using the hip muscles. Really focus here on staying nice and relaxed, and in between pries you can even give yourself a little bit of a rock side to side and forwards and backwards to help loosen off the hips. Wiggle number 3, the torso typewriter. By changing the angle of the torso, you're going to find it slightly easier to get lower with the elbow. And what you'll notice here, Jenni is doing a typewriter type motion, gradually starting to bring herself over. Don't worry about getting the elbow all the way down. You're just trying to nudge yourself over there. And remember our super secret tip of really keeping that breathing really relaxed as you do this. Improving your deep lunge test will make your overall training and how you feel day to day so much better. You've no idea how good your hips can feel until you can do this. One thing that really bugged me whenever I was trying to improve my own flexibility was knowing what to track. How do I know I'd stretched enough? How do I know whenever I'm flexible enough? How do I know when I've achieved my goals? The Deep Lunge Test gives you all of that. You're able to track it and you know when you've achieved your baseline. Once you've passed the test, you don't need to work on it as often. It is much easier to maintain flexibility when you have it because your muscles just work better. The Deep Lunge Test is the heart of the simplistic mobility method because it is so easy to track and improve, which is a principle that SMM applies to the entire body. If you look after your body, it will look after you. Let us know your scores in the comments on how you do with the Deep Lunge Test. And if you struggle with it, make sure to come back and let us know in the comments when you get that 10 out of 10. Finally, your knees could suffer. About having or throwing a dog, walking the ball or throwing a dog. It's hard to get things wrong, right? I know.